Welcome to Bear News. I'm Joe Scott.
And I'm Summer Johnson. Today we dive into stories from this past week here and around the world.
Tragedy strikes Logan County, Oklahoma after the body of 49-year-old Spring Weems was found in a trash can. The murder committed by Weems' adopted son, Jordan. Weems' murder was planned by Jordan, who told his younger sibling that he was going to kill their mom. This was after Jordan and TW, his siblings, were caught sneaking out. Jordan had his bedding and clothing locked away by Weems and was forced to wear an orange jumpsuit and eat prison food as punishment, since Weems wanted to instill that Jordan would go to jail if he kept doing things like sneaking out. Jordan admitted to the murder, saying he waited for Weems in the hallway before hitting her in the head with a hammer he got from the kitchen, hiding her body in a trash can before rolling it to the curb. For his actions, Jordan is being charged with first-degree murder, desecration of a human corpse, and unauthorized removal of a dead body. He is currently being held without bond and is set to appear in court on February 24th.
An Oklahoma father is turning personal tragedy into action after losing his 3-year-old son to a fentanyl overdose. He is now pushing for a new law that would require fentanyl testing in a certain child welfare cases. Jacob Tao says his son, Leonardo Tao, died in June 2024 in Okmulgee after investigating fentanyl. At the time, Leo's mother was under the supervision of the Oklahoma Department of Human Services, also known as DHS, during a custody agreement. Tao says required drug tests did not screen for fentanyl, and Leo returned home after those tests. Months later, the child died from fentanyl exposure. The loss inspired Tao to work with lawmakers to create Leo's Law, a bill that would require fentanyl testing in specific DHS cases. The proposal would also create stronger penalties for adults who expose children to the drug. Lawmakers say just 2 milligrams of fentanyl can cause deadly overdose, making it one of the most dangerous drugs in the country. If the bill passes, Oklahoma would become the first state to add fentanyl testing to child welfare cases. Lawmakers are expected to review the proposal later this session. The federal government avoided a shutdown this week after lawmakers passed a last-minute funding bill. In 2025, the federal government shut down for 43 days, the longest government shutdown America has ever seen. On Tuesday, President Donald Trump signed a massive spending package keeping federal agencies open for operating. The bill passed the House by a vote of 217 to 214. After clearing the Senate last week. The legislation provides full-year funding for most of the government through the end of September. However, the Department of the Homeland Security receives only 2 weeks of temporary funding as lawmakers continue discussions over policy changes. Congress is expected to return negotiations soon to finalize a long-term plan.
A 19-year-old teen, Nedas Revarkas, was released from the hospital after inflicted wounds upon himself while in custody. Nedas Revarkas was arrested for the first-degree murder of a pregnant lady named Eliza Morales. He was also charged with intentional homicide and unborn child aggravated arson and animal cruelty. He lit her apartment in a blaze and stabbed her dog because he was upset about the condition of a Ford Wrangler he had purchased from Eliza Morales' husband. Charges will still be charged after the hospitalization.
On Wednesday, a pipe burst flooded and ruined the Putnam City North High School Performing Arts Center. The flood disrupted the venue where their plays and orchestra concerts are typically held. Luckily, no instruments were damaged. However, props and decorations used by their theater and music programs were destroyed. Restoration crews had to take the place of students and start fixing stuff immediately. The crew is unsure of how fast they will be done, but they estimate it will take about a couple months for everything to be back to normal again. Although the school community is shocked and disappointed about the setback, they are determined to bounce back and continue working hard. Frisco family is mourning the death of their 16-year-old daughter, Elizabeth Engel, in a tragic sledding accident. 16-year-old Elizabeth Engel has tragically died in a sledding accident on January 25, 2026. Authorities say the incident happened when she was sledding, getting pulled behind a Jeep, and hit a tree. Medical personnel arrived on the scene, and Engel was transported to a local hospital where she was later pronounced dead. A Frisco family is mourning the death of their 16-year-old daughter, Elizabeth Engel, in a tragic sledding accident. 16-year-old Elizabeth Engel tragically died in a sledding accident on January 25, 2026. Authorities say the incident happened when she was sledding, getting pulled behind a Jeep, and hit a tree. Medical personnel arrived on the scene, and Engel was transported to a local hospital where she was later pronounced dead.
In Grady County, Oklahoma, Winter Creek Golf Course Clubhouse had a gas well blowout. Landowners had to evacuate. The families had to pack up their belongings and leave their homes as quickly as they could. The families within half a mile from the gas well blew. The American Red Cross had to set up 2 emergency shelters in different parts of the county, one held at a New Beginnings Baptist Church. As 24-hour emergency turned into costly scramble for Blanchard families forced out of their homes by the gas and the oil blowout, weather poses many hazards, including hazards to supply chains. The snowstorm that swept through Oklahoma has caused an emergency blood shortage due to the school closings. Without blood to supply hospitals, it puts Oklahomans at a risk in emergency situations. To help combat the shortage, the OBI, or our Blood Institute, has started up more blood drives in the area to get a larger supply of vital blood types such as O negative. Along with the blood drives, the OBI is open for appointments from around 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Noble Cheer is celebrating a big win after both teams brought home top awards from the American Spirit Championships. After weather prevented the team from attending National Cheerleaders Association competition, Noble cheerleaders continued practicing and prepared for the American Spirit Championships in Oklahoma City. Noble competed with 2 groups, a crowd leading team and a game day team. Each team warmed up, took the floor, and performed high-energy routines. The crowd leading team hit clean dances and difficult stunts, showing strong teamwork. The game day team followed with a sharp, fast-paced routine that kept the crowd engaged. During the award ceremony, both teams earned first place in their divisions. The game day team also won the overall grand championship title. Noble Cheer returns home with multiple trophies, and the team is already preparing for next season. The United States and India's trade pact is expected to come in less than a week after India reached a major trade agreement with the European Union. The pact is expected to have Indian export tariffs reduced, going from 25% to 18%.
The trade agreement will have India stop buying oil from Russia and start purchasing from the U.S. India also pledged to buy $500 billion in agriculture, tech, and energy. Last Sunday, the Grammys hosted their 68th annual award ceremony as music's biggest stars celebrated this year's top hits. Before the show, artists walked the red carpet showing off bold and creative looks. Lady Gaga arrived in a black feathered outfit, while Zara Larsson opened up the ceremony with a live performance inspired by her song, Midnight Sun. Performances continued throughout the night, while the host Trevor Noah kept the crowd laughing with jokes between awards. While the trophies were handed out, Kendrick Lamar and SZA won Record of the Year for Luther, and Bad Bunny took home Album of the Year for Debí Tirar Más Fotos. The Grammys continue to highlight the biggest moments in the music each year.
Groundhog Day tradition continues this week. Groundhog Day has been celebrated every February 2nd for about 139 years. Early Monday morning, crowds gathered in Puckness City, Pennsylvania, to watch the famous groundhog, Phil, saw his shadow, which signals 6 more weeks of winter. According to the records, Phil has seen his shadow 110 times over the years. Some fans cheered the tradition, while others hoped for an early spring. Thank you for watching Bear News. I'm Summer Johnson.
And I'm Joe Scott, signing off.